bumpers off the car, and whole point of this is I'm going to be talking about this crash bar over here. I'm actually going drifting this weekend. Obviously, when you go drifting, you're going to go through tires. And usually when I replace the wheels on the back, I usually jack up from the diff so I can, you know, lift the whole back end and can get both wheels at the same time. And if you don't know already, there's a lot of companies that make a replacement for this part right here. So this is the OEM one. So what a lot of companies make is a tube bash bar that replaces this. There's a couple reasons why people would go for that, and I'll put up some pictures of like some examples right now so you know what I'm talking about. And there's some that extend all the way down so that you can actually put a little jack point there. So for those ones, it's kind of dual purpose where like it's protecting your car and also you got the easy jack point. So personally, the issues I have with those kind of tubed ends is that it's a lot more harder than this thing. This OEM bash bar in almost all cars is designed to completely break when it gets hit, or more crush, not really break. It's designed to get crushed so that the rest of the car doesn't actually take most of the damage. Those aftermarket tube ends are a lot harder. Those do not crush as much, and what that means is that if something does hit you, all that force is actually going to be transferred to the rest of the car. The rest of the car could get damaged, which is a lot harder to fix than just replacing this thing. And then the other thing, it's not a concern for everyone, but if you're street driving the car, a lot of times if you get into an accident with that, it's an easy excuse for your insurance company to say it's your fault. You know, you kind of caused more damage than it should be, and you basically won't get any of your money back. That's why for me, I'm trying to keep this thing, which is what I'm going to talk about today. But I do want the jacking point. So I'm trying something a little different. I haven't even tried this yet, so if this doesn't actually work, this video is not a thing. But if it does work, the video's up, so it did work. Again, with those aftermarket ones, you're taking this thing completely off, setting it aside wherever you want, and you're putting the aftermarket one on. That being said, I have this thing. So this right here is an ECOHITCH made for the BRZ. Now obviously, it's, as you can see, it's meant to just add a hitch to the BRZ, which is crazy because, I mean, who tows with this car? But this exists. So the cool thing about this thing is, if you look, if I lift it up a bit, so you can see the three mounting holes there and there. If you look up, you can see how skinny it is. And that's because this is actually meant to go right behind this bar. You get to keep this thing on and this thing. So I think now you can kind of see where I'm going with this. So this thing I actually got with my car, so that was really lucky. If you're trying to buy this thing, I don't think this is really, I wouldn't consider it cheap. I just googled it and I didn't really look for the BRZ specific one, but all of them seem to be just over 400 US dollars. So I'm in Canada, so if I were to buy this, after converting and probably shipping it and doing customs at the border or whatever, I'm probably looking at like 600, maybe more. And so at that point, it's questionable if this is worth it for what I'm trying to do today. This is what it is. It's just 2 bolts and a nut. So it's these 2 bolts and then this nut was here. And same thing on this side. You can still see there's plenty of thread to put on the old bash bar on both sides. All bolted back. You saw also I took out these brackets that were like right behind here. You don't have to do that for this thing. I'm taking them out because I actually got a different bumper here that actually has the diffuser cut out. I just bought that as an extra bumper for when I go drifting because it's in worse condition than mine. So anyway, before I put the bumper back on, let's give it a test. Okay, it's pretty high up on the jack, but it looks like I think this jack point is just too high up, and the wheels don't think they're off the ground. But it does look like it's holding the weight, so that's good. I mean, I might have been able to jack a bit more, but I prefer not to max out the jack just to change the wheels. So I do still have the bottom of the hitch, so let's try that. Alright, now the only issue is that it looks like all the weight is going to be on this one bolt, which I'm not too sure about. decided not to try on the actual hitch. I don't trust that one bolt to survive that much shear. Just to be safe, I'm gonna just stack up the wood, because I honestly carry 2x4s with me anyway to the track. So let's see, this should give an extra inch, or more than an inch really. Alright, I'll admit the tires are not that high off, but I mean overall this does technically work, and it's a lot faster than actually bending down and trying to aim for the diff. And I could just stack another piece of wood and it'll be enough. And my car is actually on stock suspension too, so if your car is actually lower, this would be a lot more effective. You can see, so this is what I was talking about, the diffuser part is all cut out, and you can see the hitch thing is still there, still visible, easily accessible. I can jack it up pretty quick. Hopefully this is going to be a lot more helpful and it'll be a lot more quicker. If you do have the full bumper, this thing will be a lot more covered, but you should be able to still reach that thing with the jack by going underneath. I'll test that later after the track day, and I'll come back with another clip in a couple more days. Okay, I'm actually back a while later. I've had this bumper on for like almost 2 weeks since the actual drift event, and I said in the last clip that I'm gonna see how easy it is to get to that with the stock bumper on, because I haven't tried that yet. I didn't really show the car probably jacked up. I think I kind of showed the wheels, but you could barely see. So I did say I did this whole thing for a drift event just to change the wheels way easier, and it totally worked. So I'm super happy with it, because I wish it was a little longer, because it's obviously, like you saw, the jack has to be maxed out to even get the wheels off. There you go, my jack is pretty much maxed out, and you can see definitely off the ground. You got a good inch or so. So it's enough to change the tire. Again, I kind of wish it was a little longer, so I didn't have to jack it up for like 5 minutes straight. But it's better than me having to kneel down and try to aim for the diff. Okay, gonna skip ahead to the other bumper, and we can see if I can still reach that. So good news, bad news. Good news is it's completely hidden. So it does look nice and sleek, because you can't see the hitch thing anymore. But the bad news is, I actually got my friend over here protecting the other exhaust hole. But the bad news is, as you can see, it's still kind of hidden behind this thing. And also, I'm not sure if this cutout here is normal, because this was on my car when I bought it. So I don't know if the previous owner actually made this little cut here, or if all bumpers have that. If I did want to use it with this bumper, I would have to actually cut a bigger hole to get my jack like square to fit in here, which is a bit of a bummer, because I don't really want to do extra work now, but probably not going to be using this much like on a daily basis, so it's not a big deal for me. But if anyone did care to have the setup, the bumper is going to be somewhat of an issue. But yeah, that was pretty much it. I mean, I just want to put this out there that this hitch thing exists, either if you actually want a hitch or kind of easy way to jack it up. Like I said, for me, I already had this come with the car, so to me it was really a free thing. If I actually wanted like a hidden jack point, I 100% would not just buy this for how much it costs just to have it for jacking up the car. And I thought it was just a neat little thing to put out there in case someone wants something exactly like this.